Okay, this invention, it allows perpetual coldness, basically to make the air, the ambient temperature, the wind, colder and colder and colder, and get to a point of a freezing point air. So you turn the air that comes out of the wind and make that colder air by a system. We know that a gentleman came up with the concept that if you cut the ends of a soda bottle, like this right here, when the air comes in, it gets compressed a little bit, and the air that comes out of the outside, the cap, is just a few degrees colder. So that's what he came up with. I took that invention and I made it a different invention, more like a perpetual coldness. In other words, getting colder and colder and colder to a point where it gets very cold and maybe below zero. So I advanced a different invention, more like a chain reaction. In this case, pretty much the same concept, except that instead of having one bottle, you unite several bottles to make it smaller and smaller and smaller. For instance, let's say you have a wall with soda bottles, a large size. I'm talking several feet apart. The air gets compressed and it gets a few degrees colder. Okay, the next stage of a wall, you got smaller size bottles, and then the air gets compressed furthermore. So now you get more colder, and so on. And in the next wall, you got smaller small bottles, and it gets compressed further. So each stage gets colder and colder and colder. That's one way to do it. But remember, all these will be made of let's say concrete. So these will be extremely large walls. So it'll be very large walls in sequence. That's one way to do it. The other way is simple concept like this. This is just a design for walls. Okay. Let's say this is a wind farm. It's an all circular. It could be a circle. It could be a straight line. It could be any shape. Pretty much, it's in this case. I would just, for example, we have a circle, and as you can see, these are imaginary soda bottles. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 example. So in this, we have 2 soda bottles, and then it gets the wind gets compact here and here, so that the pressure gets smaller and compacts right here and compacts right here. So now you have this going through here. Same here. These 2 get compacted, the wind, and gets compacted right here. So now you have 2 get compacted, 2 get compacted, and then right here, the 2 here and 2 here are compacted together to make 4. See what I'm saying? Same here, same deal. 2 become 1, 2 become 1 compressed, and then these 2 and these 2 get compressed right here, so that's now 4. Okay, so now these 4 and these 4 get compressed and compact to make 8. Same deal, 8. So same deal over here. The 8 get compressed here, and 8 get compressed here together over here. So now you have 16 soda bottles compacted. Remember, this is all walls. These is all massive, massive walls over a small town or a solar farm. Anyway, and so now the process gets repeated over and over and over and over until you acquire the person acquires a right temperature. It could be cold, it could be below zero, it could be massively low temperatures like Antarctica, but that depends on how many filters you have. All these are filters. You can have this design, or you can have a system, this system. Remember, these are all walls made of concrete or any material for the walls. It could be any materials. But for this purposes, we have these massive concrete walls. You can have a small town in the middle. And like for here, it's just a design right here. You can tell, it's just an example. You can have this going into pipes of cold air with insulation, and they could go toward a I get the purpose right here. C, let's say, I'm sorry, it could be for a colder area in a hot desert. B, I'm sorry, power for energy for heated and cold differences by heat engines. In other words, you can use it for power companies to make electricity. C, create an Antarctica or colder area on Earth, or basically super cold. D, for research. E, for wind farm. They can farm this to make ice, or to for energy, or to sell the cold air for homes, so they can have cold air directly into their homes, and that kind of purpose. Also for community collection. In other words, when there is cold air and it shocks with warm air surrounding, you could have a design system to collect humidity collection to make water from the air. So now they're using this cold air for production of water droplets from the air. Anybody who knows about how that system works, it's easy. Once you have a cold air with the warm temperatures, the shock difference creates a humidity, which is water from the air. And then we got E, which I already mentioned, ice production, and which also mentioned is G, is sell cold air to tenants or homes, and so on. So this project is massive. They could be a massive system of walls and walls and walls, more or less like a farm system for production of the wind to produce cold temperatures. And for research, it could be colder and colder to the extreme, even colder than Antarctica, depending how many layers you have. Yeah, you could have so many layers to filter out and get colder and compress the air, just like the AC. The AC, what it does is compresses the air to a point that you could produce heat or could produce coldness. So the AC system, it works almost similar, but in this system you could design it to for energy purposes, for cold, and who knows what else, and for a new power plant source of energy. So I'm just inventing a new power source, inventing a new form of creating cold air. And this system, it doesn't, I mean, just the way it is right now, it could be more advanced later on, but at this point, this is just a system to condense the air and concentrate it and make it colder. Like I said, if you blow into your hand, it's warm air. But if you pucker your lips and compress it while you're blowing, then the air coming out of your lips, it's colder. Try it. It's just a simple experiment. First, blow a normal breath of air into your hand. You feel the warmth. Now, second, pucker your lips, close them down tightly, and blow through the puckered lips, and then the air coming out is going to be colder. You'll notice that's the same way this works. But in this system is you get it smaller in compressed air and more in compressed air, and the more you compress air, the colder it is. So this system is you make it colder each step, each wall. So it's you can have really super cold air to a freezing point or beyond, depending how many layers of walls you have. Well, this is my invention to the world. Well, it's my invention, but I'm saying it's only for personal use. But it's a design. It's pretty cool. And personal use meaning that if you for personal and not for games and stuff. But anyway, it's a cool invention.